G'day future people, welcome to Getting Tabled. I'm Jason the Bruce, and today we're checking out Arnim Zola and Baron Strucker from Marvel Crisis Protocol. This has been coming for quite a while. In all honesty, I actually bought this quite a few months ago. I've been trying to hold off on recording everything all at once for a few reasons. This is something I bought for a couple of reasons. I kind of have a thing, especially lately, of like the bad guy factions in games. I don't really know why. Ironically, I don't really know why. It's just a thing. And I don't really have a lot of the villains that could make a force in this. I've been kind of talking about playing Marvel for a couple of months, but because my transport's been kind of off, I haven't actually played a game of anything in well over a month at this stage. But I bought this because this has a part of the kit that I find very interesting and something that we don't see very often. So, we'll have a look at this and we'll see what we think. All right, and here we have CP76. So it's Baron Strucker and Arnim Zola. Very much more inspired by the comics than the movies. Like a lot of stuff, we haven't really seen a lot of stuff that crosses over into the movies yet, which I will say I'm disappointed by. I kind of want to see more of that. In saying that, Arnim Zola probably looks cooler in the comics than he does in the movies. But just generally speaking, I'd love to see some actual movie crossover stuff. On the back, we get an idea of what's in it. Obviously, we get the usual story. In this, we also get 2 tactile cards, so we'll be looking at those as well. Nice to see some artwork of what's in the box. That's actually quite nice. I don't remember if this is the... I assume this is the one for the last unboxing that was done this way as well. I don't actually know, though, because I don't remember looking at it very closely. I kind of remember dismissing it, saying that they're kind of all the same now. Keeping in mind that you don't receive the instructions anymore, you have to actually download them. On the back is credits, which is nice because all companies should be giving credits to the people that work on their stuff. All right, so getting a little bit of a look at Arnim Zola here. So he's got... I'm not going to read through everything because, like I said, it has been a while since I've gone through and actually played a game. But we've got prototype weapons here. Focused ESP box blast. Experimental enhancements. So the prototype weapons is free. The focused ESP box blast will cost you 2. The experimental enhancements will cost you 3. Hydra engineering is X, so that's going to be something you'll want to look at a little bit more clearly. He also has scientific hubris and immunity to bleed and poison, which is nice. And there's a look at his stats for you. On his damaged side... Love the raging. That's really cool. Mostly the same over here by the look of it. Yeah, he doesn't really have anything that's different unless I'm missing something. Baron Strucker. Now, this is the one that I really wanted. I don't really know why. Just Baron Strucker stood out to me for some reason. He is a leader from memory for the Hydra group. So we have a Plasma Blast, which costs you nothing. The World is Mine costs you 4. He's part of the Hydra High Council. He has Death Spoke Virus, which will cost you 2. Arrogance will cost you 1. He is a strategic genius, and he has a healing factor of 1, which is nice. 433. On the back... largely the same again. 532 medium. 532 medium. Yeah, pretty much the same. And yes, there's not a huge difference in the sides here, which is fine. I mean, not all of them are like that. I mean, there might be slight differences in the text. I'm not going into all of the detail here, but nothing really jumps out at me. All right, we have the High Council, which is for Hydra, and you need to be active. If all of the following conditions are met simultaneously, an allied Hydra character may play this card. Johann Schmidt is not dazed and has 6 or more power. Arnim Zola is contesting a secure objective token. Wolfgang von Strucker is not dazed and is within 2 of 2 or more enemy characters with the poison special condition. And Helmut Zemo has dazed or KO'd an enemy character this round. You may place an unused character threat value 4 or less from your roster within 2 of this character, and it is now part of your squad. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, I quite like... I mean, it's not going to be the easiest thing to pull off, because obviously a lot of things have to go right here to be able to do this, but that's nasty. I'd probably argue that if you are facing somebody that is playing Hydra, you will be wanting to make sure that either Johann or Wolfgang, or Red Skull or Strucker, is definitely dazed at some point, if not both of them, one of them. You'd want to avoid them ever being able to use this, because it's a free character. I like this a lot. We also have the scientific method, which is also Hydra only. Again, you need to be active. Arnim Zola may spend 2 power to play this card. Choose another character that is a threat value 3 or less within 3 of Arnim Zola. The chosen character suffers 2 damage for the rest of the game. The chosen character may use the ESP leakage ability and gains the unnatural mutation superpower. So ESP leakage costs you 1. Just give you a chance to have a look at that. An unnatural mutation. When an enemy character targets this character with an attack, the character adds 2 dice to the defense unless the attacking character pays 2 power. That's, I think, if you're playing the characters that are involved, I think these are almost must take. I don't really know, because I've kind of been out of the Marvel scene for a little while, so I could be wrong on that, but both of these sound really nice. Obviously, if you disagree with me, then obviously correct me in the comments, because I'm not sitting here saying that I know competitively what's good and what's not. It's just that these sound really, really good to me. Bases-wise, we get the usual. Keeping in mind, for those of you that are new to Marvel, these are display pieces for your bases. Don't throw these out. Likewise on the smaller bases, these are the same. But again, don't throw these out. They're very useful. They just help. Whether you want to put them on the bases for your characters so that all the bases don't look the same, or whether you want to use them on your terrain, definitely keep these. Starting with Strucker. So, nothing really screams difficulty here. It looks fairly straightforward build-wise. You got 2 legs that go together, and then the body that goes onto the legs. Arms will go into the body with the head. There's no stupidly tiny pieces or anything, so I think we're good here. Like the detail, especially in here, is phenomenal. Like, just use your washers to bring the details out in that. Like, it's just screaming for somebody to spend a lot of time on. Like, this is really, really nice. And here we have the first part of Arnim Zola. So this is going to be the highlight for a lot of people. This has definitely been a painting project that I've seen a lot in the Marvel groups. Again, nothing super difficult about the build that I can see, but there is something that's really important about this that you need to understand. So this clear piece is part of the armor and everything, and at the end of the day, goes over the top of one of the faces. I like the fact that you have 2 different faces. I don't know which one I'm going to use. The reason I'm pointing this out is that when you're building this, don't glue this on yet. Because if you do, you can't paint the face. This is literally a mistake that someone in the Marvel group made recently. Because this ends up being clear. Unless for some reason, like if you want to paint the face instead on the glass, you could do that. But I mean, the details on these are really, really nice. I like the fact that we're starting to get some characters with display pieces on them that, I mean, granted, you don't have to use, because all you need to do is cut off the little nub and it'll stand on the base by itself. But the reason I like it is it means that we're starting to get some bases that look different, because it was getting to a point where a lot of them look the same after a while. But honestly, this is absolutely phenomenal. Really, really nice detail. That helps a little bit because it's clear. You can't really see the detail on this on camera. So I might have a closer look just off camera and I'll come back to you with my thoughts. Honestly, I think this looks really nice. This is definitely something that you're going to want to prime by hand. If you want to use an airbrush to prime this, mask the lens, because otherwise you're just going to end up painting over the top of it and you'll be kicking yourself for months. Honestly, I really like what I'm seeing here. All right, so first and foremost, we've got Baron Strucker here. Honestly, this was really, really easy to build. Probably one of the easiest MCP models I've built so far. There's nothing really hard about this at all. I don't think this is going to be overly difficult to paint either, except for maybe the fire. I mean, there's certainly a lot of decent tutorials out there if you want to find out how to do that, but I don't think anything about this really stands out as difficult. As far as Arnim Zola is concerned, when you're building him, this is the point where realistically you need to stop. Now, model-wise, this so far looks really good. Now, I'm going to show you why you need to stop at this point. If you just build this, then the face that goes underneath that lens there is always going to show as grey and very clearly never been painted. I mean, if you want it to be grey, then I guess that's not that big of a deal. So as you can see, if I do that, then it's always going to have been grey. If you don't so much mind that, then you could paint around this, or you could paint around all of it and then paint in your own face if you really wanted to. But I would be stopping at this point when you're building yours. There's two different face options, as I pointed out earlier. I chose to go for the angry one over the... I don't so much mind an arrogant looking face, but this just looks silly to me. I have also built the other arm. This arm goes on here. In theory, you could glue that on as well, because the body piece does still fit. But personally, I would feel more comfortable if this is glued onto both sides of that body. It's less likely to break at that point, so I've chosen to leave mine separate. Likewise with the robot head that goes above here, I've chosen to leave that on the sprue at this stage. There's just not that much of a glue point there. I would rather glue that on after the fact. And honestly, in theory, it's probably easier to paint that separately anyway. There's no spillover at that point. But that would be my advice. If you're building Arnim Zola, building him up to this point. The only other thing I didn't point out is this hose here. You definitely have to leave that off for now. But yeah, I would leave him at that point. Painted everything up separately. Remember, you do want to prime this by hand, or you want to cover this over with some masking. One or the other. But if you get paint over that, it's never really going to be the same. There we go. That's Baron Strucker and Arnim Zola for the Hydra faction for Marvel Crisis Protocol. This is probably, it's one of those mixed bags, this one. I mean, Baron Strucker is really easy to build. Arnim Zola is one that you really need to be careful with. Because if you just build this according to the instructions, you will immediately regret it. Let us know, if you did buy it, let us know how you found it. Did you build this separately? Was your strategy different from where I stopped? Be very, very interested to hear that. Otherwise, until next time, play more games.